Hey everybody, you're welcome back to our series. Oh my goodness, I've been hearing from so many people about this series. It's so cool. I'm so excited that you're here. I'm so excited that you're with us. Thank you for being part of this series and being part of this amazing adventure that we're on. So, the series that we're right in the middle of is about group facilitation and really how to check in and how in the world as a group facilitator, group leader, do we deal with heavy emotions? Now, I've always done these two disclaimers because I'm getting asked this a lot, and so I'm going to keep on saying it. Number one, do not do any of these with a group if you have not experienced it on a continual basis with either group practice or in a group like Step Out and Thrive. Our tip groups, Thrive intentional practice groups are a great place where you can practice these. Do not take what you're learning here and immediately apply it to a group setting because it's just like, and I used this example before, a doctor is reading about an operation that he wants to perform. He's never done one before, and he turns around and tries to do it. When you're in a group, and especially if you're in that leadership position, you are responsible. You are responsible for the safety of that group. You should be trained. You should be knowledgeable. If you're group coaching and you realize the group dynamics are getting too much for you yourself to handle and with the skills that you have, you should stop doing that group. Really, you should, because you might be doing more damage to those people in that group that you even want to realize. And B, you should be looking for training about how to receive, not to lead, to receive first, because you need to understand how those people are feeling, how those group members are feeling before you can offer what you're learning to other people. You cannot offer what you yourself have not received. That's why it's really important to be in groups like this. So that is a disclaimer that I'm putting out there for all of these. Please do not do this. However, you can practice one-on-one. That's usually a safe bet. Get connected with somebody, agree, hey, let's practice interactive appreciation and check in for a couple weeks, and then we'll reevaluate and see how it goes. That's safe. That's a safer way to do it. So I would encourage that, but even better to get in a group because that way you really get the group dynamics. You get to receive more from the group. And if that seems like a great fit and you're learning and you're receiving more, then maybe go with like an organization like Step Out and Thrive or Luke 10 who can help you in the training and facilitation part, or even a coach school, like wherever you want to go. That's when you go to that level. You don't immediately go to group training one-on-one if you haven't received. That doesn't make any sense. You can only offer what you yourself have received. Disclaimer done. I always feel like I have to say that because I'm so passionate about that because I've seen so many people get hurt by these groups that are not run appropriately. So very passionate about that. Come receive. Okay, so today we're going to talk about number 3, an option that you can give when people check in with heavy emotion. So if you're just listening to this for the first time, please go back to the very first episode in this series because this is going to sound weird cutting in right in the middle. And you need to understand why we even create a safe environment before we do this. So somebody is coming in to the check-in time, they have a heavy emotion, and you as a group are trying to respond appropriately. Number one choice was we can just be with you. And again, if you have not heard that episode, please go check it out because it's probably not what you are thinking. Okay. So number one is we can just be with you. The one we talked about last week is we can listen to Jesus with you. Oh my goodness, it's one of my favorite ones. It ended up being one of the favorite ones of a lot of my first-time group participants and even long-time group participants. They love experiencing that in a group setting. I'm not going to talk more about it. Go listen to the episode. Today is number 3. We can pray with you right now or throughout the week. Now, this doesn't have a whole lot of extra stuff to it, but it can, depending on what kind of group you're leading. Now, keeping in mind with these practices, the way I'm teaching them, the way I'm sharing them with you, I'm passionate about doing small groups, 6 to 8 people tops. That is the groups that I want to lead. If you're trying to lead groups of 25, 30, 50 people, you can't do it like this. Sorry, you can't. So don't take this and try to run the groups like this. But when somebody checks in heavy and they're like, hey, yes, I would love prayer right now. I would love prayer throughout the week. So your first question is if they don't say one of those two, like, yeah, I would like prayer. That's usually what a lot of people do. That's awesome. Okay, number one, can you explain a little bit about what you would like prayer around? I usually qualify it like this. Can you explain in 1 to 2 sentences exactly what you would like prayer around? And the reason we do that is because we want them to explain in 1 to 2 sentences. If they're going above and beyond what's going on, it really makes it hard for anybody else to really connect and actually pray for what they want to be prayed for, right? That's the first question. What exactly would you like prayer for? And then number 2, the question would be, if when you want prayer, when would you like this prayer? Would you like it right now? Would you like it throughout the week? And if they say, yeah, I would like it throughout the week, that's awesome. What time? You're going to make this go deeper. You really want them to think about it. Somebody's like, oh, well, whenever they think about me. Okay, cool. If you want the group to be, and somebody thinks about you during the week and they're praying, would you like them to notify you? Would you like them to send you an email or text like, hey, I'm just praying for you? Would you like the whole prayer on email or text? You as a group facilitator, are you going to allow group emails about prayers that people are praying? How are you going to handle that? And so there's even in this, there's so many different ways that you could go, whether in person or virtual. You need to be prepared as a facilitator to really listen to what God's doing, to listen how the prompting's going, but also to be asking curious questions to the person that's asking for prayer, because what you think may be comfortable may not be comfortable at all, especially if you don't know that person. Okay. So pay attention to what's going on. So you can have prayer right then and there. If you're in person, you can ask the person, hey, is it okay if we put our hands on you? Okay. And where should we do that? On the shoulders? Where should we do this? Another thing that tends to happen a lot of times is prayer is that people, well, I'm getting this prompting that God, so you need to be very specific, as if you do not want any of that. You need, as a facilitator, to say that. If you welcome that, that's great. But again, I would have that talk with the group, especially if it's the first time, like, hey, try it on for size and see if it fits. This does not mean thus saith the Lord. Okay. As a group, you're practicing that together. They could write their prayers. You could have a moment and just play some soft music and have people write prayers and then hand it to that person. That way they can take it on their own and they don't have to share anything out loud. That's an option too. Sometimes if you're on Zoom, I've seen groups where they just type it in the chat and that person copies it and keeps it with them throughout the week. Sometimes if they ask, hey, they want prayer throughout the week, they're on a group text or they're on Marco Polo or on one of those apps. And whenever that person's thinking about them, they'll pray right then and there on that app and they'll share the whole prayer with them. Again, whatever works. Again, if you're having somebody pray during the meeting, during that group time, is it just one person? Is it the whole table? Are you praying for a minute? Are you praying for 5 minutes? So many things go into this. So you really don't want to just say, okay, we're going to do it. And people are going, yeah, we need more direction. Like what are we doing exactly? Especially if it's a brand new group that you don't know the backgrounds of anybody there. So you really want to take time and really get curious with your group, what that's going to look like. Another way I've seen this done, and kids, I love talking about kids. Again, I think it's awesome. They will sometimes, when they pray, and they will draw it out or they'll write it out and they'll put it on a wall and they'll make a prayer wall. You guys have seen this back in the day, right? And it's really cool because they'll come up the next week and they'll go, oh yeah, God did this. And they'll put the answers by the prayer. How cool is that? I'm telling you, kids are the future. The kids are the future right now. Kids are the present. And so they have good ideas about this too. So my point is, don't just go, okay, yeah, we're going to pray for you and just let it go. Get creative. Look at your group, look at the dynamics of the group and see how God wants you to orchestrate that. You can also ask the person, if you've done this for a while and the person that you're with seems like they've done this for a while and knows what they're doing, ask the person like, hey, how would you like prayer? How would you like that to look like? And you can put the time limits. You can do whatever prayer can be ended. Okay, you don't have all the time in the world. Nobody does. So be curious about what that looks like as well. So again, these are some suggestions. When you're one-on-one and you're practicing in a safe environment with somebody, practice this. What would this look like for me to pray with you throughout the week? Okay, let's practice and see how that works. So get creative. find out what works for you, find out what works for your group. And again, it's just one of the many options of how you can best be with the person as a group right then and there. So if you're practicing this, again, please let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to email me, Bethany@stepoutinthrive.com, or visit the splash page, bethanybourne.com, and let me know how these practices are going in your life, or to join a group. All right, see you guys later next week. Bye.